Welcome back, you beautiful bastards. It's the third day of horror month. We're going to be talking about Saw 3. Let's jump right into it. So, kind of like I was saying with the second movie, the Saw movies to me after the first one kind of fall to the wayside. Saw 3, I don't know, I kind of am in the middle. And here's why. Saw 3's premise starts off with the detective Eric from the last movie. He was chained to the same bathroom that Adam and Detective Gordon were chained to in the first movie. He breaks out, he breaks his leg, and then you kind of see the ensuing predicament happen. Then, as that's going on, we then get our new kind of like jigsaw situation. But see, here's where the Easter eggs, not Easter eggs, but here's where like the implants of Jigsaw lie, right? This is a normal Jigsaw like any other Saw movie, right? People in a room trapped somewhere going through things. But to me, the Saw movies usually take one or two routes, right? Besides the first movie. It's either a bunch of people in a big area with multiple traps getting less and less and less and less and less people as they progress forward, or it's one person going through a labyrinth testing himself of other people who now need to die, if you will. This happens over and over in the Saw movies. Saw 2 and Saw 4 are similar, and Saw 3 and Saw 5 are similar in that kind of vein or existence, if you will. Or I might have them reversed, if you will. But it's always like one or the other, usually, right? But what I thought was interesting watching Saw 3 is at the beginning of the movie, they give you a hint that there's a new Jigsaw, kind of. They go and investigate a murder that has just happened, which was the guy had to pull out all the chains from all over his body. But they saw that the door was welded shut.
Why did you have to cut the door down?
It was welded shut. Bloody truck couldn't get in here.
Exactly.
I don't follow.
If the aim of Jigsaw's game was to get out before the bomb went off, then why was the door welded shut? The guy couldn't get out if he wanted to.
And they say, well, that's not normal Jigsaw stuff. And the detective, Carrie, who figured it out, actually gets tried later, and she tries to get out of her acid and can't do it either. And you don't really get any real answer to that stuff. But you see the detective, who you know in the later movies is, you know, the newest Jigsaw. But I thought that was actually really clever that, like, a lot of the implants in this movie that they implant you with, you don't get until the next movie. When John's dying, they show flashes of his wife. But you don't really get any of that in this movie. You just get glimpses of it, you know? The backstory of Jigsaw still isn't that deep or enriched in this one yet. It's very kind of like shallow, but what's interesting about it is you have two situations going on, right? You got Jeff on one side dealing with everything that he is, essentially. And Jeff has a son who died in a car accident, and he's grieving all the time for his son, and he can't take it anymore. And, you know, he hates everything and everybody, basically. So he's the one going through the gauntlet of people. And then you have the doctor. I forget her name right now. And she is actually taking care of Jigsaw because Jigsaw has cancer, and he is really, really messed up right now. Obviously, he can't go to the hospital, so he needs somebody to help him. So Amanda, who we find out in the second movie is, you know, helping John, you know, is, you know, taking care of John right now. And basically, you know, doing all of his needs that need to be done on a daily because he's decrepit and, you know, he has cancer and he can't move and everything sucks right now, right? So you got these two things, and they're both kind of coming to a head by the end of the movie. And I do like that aspect of it. I like that by the end of the movie, it's kind of like this collision, you know? And you have Jeff, who you find out by the end of the movie is the doctor's wife, you know? And they were in the middle of not an affair, but like a divorce kind of situation, but they still loved each other and had love for each other and stuff like that. So what's interesting is, you know, the twist at the end was you didn't see either thing coming because you thought, you know, she wanted a divorce with the guy that he was talking to, and it was just like a big mislead, which is what Saw movies are known for. But in this movie, I really enjoyed it. If we're gonna talk about like traps or anything like that, there was a few traps in this that always make me laugh. And the first one is the one with the black dude who's getting turned around. Man, when he first wakes up and says like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Bro, that is hilarious to me.
Somebody help me!
That's one of the funniest moments I've ever had in the theater, like laughing by myself, no one else laughing with me. I do that a lot. I laugh at a lot of things and nobody else is laughing, but that's okay. I don't really care. You know, if I find it funny, I'm laughing. I thought that death was hilarious. And the Jigsaw death at the end of the movie, I think is just so funny because he just grabs, he has like all these decisions. He's like, to the left of you, you have all these instruments you can use to kill me and take me out. And then it's just like, he's like, you're right. I could use any of those instruments. Nah, I'm going to get this big saw blade and just...
Test. The rules are simple. Over on that table is a host of vicious implements, which you can use to exact your pound of flesh, to take your vengeance, to indulge your obsession.
Jeff.
You know, just tears him up. And I really like that last moment of Jigsaw because in that moment, you know, you got to see him, you know, kind of at his lowest. And then obviously, you know, it was a quote unquote test for Amanda as well to see like what she was doing and everything else. So what I like about the movie is there's multiple layers and it has multiple factors to all like blend together at the end. And it kind of works. You know, I don't really have any like gripes with the movie other than I don't really like the actor that plays Jeff, who's the dad, the disgruntled dad, but that could be directing. I just didn't like some of his lines.
Shut the fuck up.
And I also felt like, well, okay, see, it's like this. It's like in the first movie, it's like, what did Dr. Gordon and Adam really do to deserve to be in Jigsaw's trap, right? In the second movie, it's kind of the same thing. And in the third movie, right, it's again the same thing, but it makes a little bit more sense because the guy that he's using for the trap, he made the traps for Jeff easy. If you didn't realize that, like Jeff doesn't have hard traps. The people that he's walking through have all of the hard traps. And if Jeff fails, they just die. You know what I mean? So like Jigsaw wanted Jeff to get through the gauntlet so he could shoot Amanda if Amanda failed, if and when Amanda failed, because he expected her to fail. So that to me is more interesting than the choices that they made in the first and second movie for who to pick, you know, because there was a reason behind it. You know, she was just one of the best. She just happened to be one of the best doctors, and he just happened to be married to one of the best doctors as they had both lost a kid. So that in itself, you know, makes the situation when it comes to a head at the finale a lot better than the second movie, especially. The first movie I still love, you know, with all my heart, but the second movie especially, you have a weird flow to it sometimes, and I don't really like it. And this movie gets rid of that in a way because there's this crazy tension where you can take away from the trap that isn't like a detective just talking to Jigsaw or whatever, you know. And I love those moments too, I said that before, but I'm just saying, like, you know, that kind of stuff didn't feel like a second plot. Whereas like Saw 3 literally has two plots. You have Jeff going through the gauntlet, and then you have Jigsaw, Amanda, and the doctor dealing with everything they're dealing with. You know what I mean? And I like that there's an A story and a B story that both happen to meet together in the middle, you know, well, not even in the middle, but they have to meet together by the end, you know? There's not really much I don't like about this movie. There's just not enough here, you know? you don't find out enough about Jigsaw and everything else. You find out more about Amanda. You find more about Jeff and his wife, and I think that kind of hurts the movie in a weird way. But I still think that a lot of the traps and everything else were just fun. They were just a good time. Like I had a good time with a lot of the traps. I laughed a lot at a lot of the traps. But again, Jeff's whole thing was an easy gauntlet. He had it the easiest of any Jigsaw person ever. But I guess that was the point. Jigsaw wanted him to survive so he could test Amanda. Which is crazy. This man is he's all over the place. If I had to rate this movie, I don't think I rated Saw 2 either. If I had to rate Saw 2, I'd give that shit like a 7 out of 10. If I had to rate Saw 3, I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. I do like Saw 3 more than 2. For me, it goes 1, 3, 2. I'm not going to do Saw 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We will do Saw 10, but Saw 10 takes place between 2 and 3. So that's why I did the first 3 Saw movies, essentially. So when we do the first 3 Saw movies, then boom, we can move right over to Saw 10, and then boom, my Saw movies are done for the year. Maybe I'll do Saw 4 through whatever, next horror month or whatever else. You know what I mean? The score was still good. I was glad we got more Tobin Bell because we didn't get a lot of him last time, even though he's on his deathbed. There's a really crazy operation scene in this movie that I still think about to this day, even when I hadn't seen it in forever. I haven't seen it since pretty much the first time I watched it. And then I rewatched it and I was like, oh, here comes that scene, bro. And where she has to cut into that man's skull, and first she has to like drill the holes to make a square, and then cut and then cut and then cut. And I'm like, oh my Lord. And then you just hear him like get relieved when she pops that thing open. He's like, oh, it's like, oh my goodness. That scene will never leave my brain. That scene is probably stuck in my brain more than any other Saw scene other than the first movie with the room. Every other scene, I forget about. I don't really remember. Like I'm sure it's in my memory somewhere. But those two things are very iconic for me. Jigsaw being operated on was insane to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's about it, man. I don't really have too much more to say about Saw 3. Like I said, if I was to say the order, it'd definitely go 1, 3, 2 for me. I think 3 is slightly better than 2. 2 is fun, but I didn't really like a lot of the characters in that movie too well. So, all right, man. I'll see you guys on the next one. We should be talking about Candyman. We're going to talk about the old school Candyman and the 2021 one. So I'll see you guys on some next videos. Hey, if you guys can do me a favor, leave your boy a like, subscribe. Tell me some horror movies you want me to watch. Maybe I can squeeze them in before the month is over. We're not only doing horror stuff either, guys. We're still going to be putting out other videos, so be on the lookout. I got Cyberpunk. A new My Hero BR just came out, all types of things. So I'm just trying to push out as much content as I possibly can. If you appreciate what I'm doing for you guys, do your boy a favor, leave me a like, a follow, subscribe, whatever it is for you on whatever platform this is coming out on. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys later on the next one. Peace.